Welcome, guys, to the latest episode of Dummy Football Podcast, joined by Jordan and Junior. Junior, how you doing today?
Doing great. How about you?
Doing good, doing good. Just a quick thought on the quarterfinals. Just one word to describe the quarterfinals, Junior.
Surprising, exhilarating. I
I
thought it was
said
gonna be.
one. I said one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, changed it.
All right, Jordan, how you doing today?
Great.
One word to describe the quarterfinals.
Dramatic.
Okay, I like those. I like both of the words you guys used. Yes, today We're going to be going over the quarterfinal results, and then going look ahead into the semifinals, how we see the team matching up. Any news coming from the camps going into the semifinal games, and then we'll talk about some news and get into some
Get into it.
so get into time wasting. All right, so the first of the quarterfinal matchups was the Croatia versus Brazil game. Um, I was lucky enough to watch the second half of the extra time and then the penalty shootouts. But man, what a the the goalkeeper Likovic, what a good performance against Brazil overall. Had Brazil had a couple of chances and he would just deny them time after time. And then coming up big in the penalty shootout for that Rodrigo missed penalty, and then Croatia just more confident and having that ability to convert from the spot. I don't know if the pressure just was too much for the Brazilian players to come up. We've seen Rodrigo and Marquinhos miss as well. Marquinhos, one of the leaders in that national team, not just for club and country, not just for club but also for country as well. Um, I'll start off with you, Jordan, first. Give me your thoughts on that Croatia Brazil game.
I woke up very early in the morning to watch that game, and it was a cold. It was very cold in my garage, but sometimes you just have to stick through it to watch the quarterfinals, especially in a World Cup. But Croatia, if you had watched the game, if you look at the stats, Brazil has like 12 shots on goal on target, and Croatia had one or two. You would think, oh, dude, Brazil dominated. Croatia let them take those shots. They pushed them towards those positions to take a shot. They were controlling the whole game. They had the ball the whole game. They were dictating the play. They were like, "Oh, you're playing on our terms," so like they would dictate the tempo of the game, which is never a good place to be, especially against a team that's very, very good defensively, like Croatia, and who Brazil doesn't really have that many great defenders on the wings. Their center backs are good, but they don't really have a right back. That is either Militao playing as a right back, which I think even if you have Dani Alves, who I know is older, but you should still put him in because he's a guy experienced at that position. Or maybe you should have taken another right back, a younger right back. But Croatia, they played the best. The comeback kids. I remember last World Cup, I was calling them the comeback kids, and they still have that name. It's just crazy that all like 3 games they've gone to penalties and they won it. Like it's at this point it's part of their tactics.
Yeah,
It's like that's what we're gonna do.
I don't want to face them in penalties. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
The final thing I'll say is the manager for Croatia had two good changes, putting in Orsic and the striker who's PA
Petkovic,
something,
Petkovic.
Pekovic.
Mm.
And those were the two guys that linked up for the goal. So you have to look at that Croatian manager and be like, he knew something because that's the type of transfers you make when they instantly have an impact. That you're like, you start thinking that manager knows his players. He knows what moment it is. And I feel like the Brazilian coach, his subs was the cost him the game.
Yeah, Junior.
Yeah, I agree, and also I just think that the way that we're playing, I think we let ourselves like go, like how well they were playing, or overestimated how well they were just because they were trashing teams left and right. But we also had to look at what the other teams was giving them, and the other teams weren't really giving them a fight. And as soon as they got a fight, you saw how that affected them.
Yeah.
But I had a question for you on the. Do you think they should have subbed in Ederson? Is he a better goalkeeper for penalties?
That's the thing that I was thinking because I think I looked it up and Ederson conversion a stoppage at the penalty it's a little it's equal to or less to than Allison, so I don't know if bringing Ederson would have been a great idea. Um,
Well, it could have been like a man game, you know. Remember when
yeah,
that's what?
it could have been a mental thing as well to bring Ederson,
Yeah.
but you know if statistically thinking, I think Allison is as good at as Ederson in the
But
penalties.
also another thing that we that it this even focused more on what Brazil offers. It's Neymar and then 10 other guys.
Yeah,
Like the way again Neymar had to come up for them, and like you can only give so much. Like people just think because you're a great player, it's just like you're just gonna make a great play every time you have the ball. Like they, like
yeah,
it's not like there's 10 people surrounding him at all
yeah,
times. They know what he's capable of.
yeah.
So again, I think this is. I think the players that he took or the forwards were like let go by how good they are, and in reality, they're not as good as Brazil makes them look as.
Well, even the formation that they played with they had a 4-2-3-1 with Neymar as a cam, and you're thinking, oh, they have Fred and Casemiro, good CDMs. Oh, he decides to play Paqueta in a deep line playmaking position. Paqueta's not used to playing there. The whole game, he would go up, leaves Casemiro by himself. They would just pass the ball there, and then they would hold the position there the whole game. And then Paqueta would finally come back. They win the ball and they try to attack. You couldn't do anything. And then I thought it was weird that he took out Vinicius for Rodrigo, who was playing on the left. Rodrigo's better on the right. And Calvin, you know that as a Real Madrid fan. He plays better as a right mid. And then he take
Oh,
out
right.
Rafinha, who wasn't getting any and the balls to his side, who was struggling. And then he puts in who's that other right? Who's that right mid? What's that right mid's name? I just forgot it.
Anthony.
Anthony doesn't do anything.
With the
There
right.
was a there was a play for 12 seconds or 7 seconds somewhere there. He had the ball and he was going against the Croatian left back, right, left, right, left, right, left, pass it back. Doesn't do anything. The left back Sosa didn't struggle at all against Anthony. I feel like he should have put in Martinelli on the left and possibly Rodrigo on the right because Martinelli has been having a great season with Arsenal. And I know it sounds biased, but he's way better than Anthony. Like there were weird transfers like that, and then you put in Pedro Marquez as a striker for Richarlison, who Richarlison also only had the ball once, and we had a 1-2 with Neymar, which Neymar didn't score on. But you're like, he put in Pedro Marquez, who was doing good in the Libertadores, but he didn't do anything like at all. He literally struggled the whole game, and you have to think, well, now that he's fired, well, you can see why he's fired because the whole plan, like Junior said, it was just Neymar builds all our plays. Like they didn't do anything. They try to play through Neymar too much. I feel like if maybe that's how he wanted to do the tactics, but
Yeah, in no
they
reality,
cost him.
he should have put Neymar up more up front and then put Paqueta in that role because Paqueta knows how to play in that role. And then I mean, have Casemiro, and then the other players are gonna have to sacrifice and have him more down deep line. And I don't remember who else they had, but yeah, like you said, like Paqueta has to be more up in the field if he's gonna have him. Like, there's no way you can have him down there. Even then, I would have Marquinhos as a CDM with alongside Casemiro. Maybe make a back three, and then because what you were saying, like they didn't attack through the right. Like Eder Militao is not gonna be attacking. He's more defensive. Whether you even if you give him like orders, like some players are just that's the way. Is that something they said? Is he not more defensive?
Well, Militao loves to attack. He loves to go
Yeah, but
forward.
yeah, but in a defense when you have
And
you have the ball.
he has played a right back at Porto. He played it when he was at playing there, so he's used to that
Yeah,
position.
but now he's at Real
He
Madrid.
hasn't played it in a while, but he has
Yeah,
played that position. But
And then
but I
he
just
had
feel like
Danilo too.
in this
He had Danilo playing as a left back, and Alexandro. He puts in Alexandro all late in Danilo's position. You have Alexandro on the bench, one of the best left backs who has really good seasons, and Dani Alves, Alex Telles. Like, there's so many things where you could have done differently with the right back. And like you said, Yele Militao is good. You could have put either Militao next to Marquinhos and maybe sub in Thiago Silva later, or take Thiago Silva out, give him some rest, put
I
in
would have
some
put him
other
in the
center
back
back.
three. Thiago Silva exceeds in that back three. I think
Even
that would
that
have
way, they
been.
would have played better because now you
Yeah,
have more midfielder, more attackers. But it's
now
well,
it's
just
I
the
gonna
just
be
tactics
feel
very
of
like
the
complicated.
coach.
I just feel like one of his biggest role because I felt like if I was looking into the game, I look into those the three midfielders there for Croatia: Brozovic, Kovacic, and Modric. You know they're gonna try to hold on to the ball, or it's gonna
Yeah,
be difficult to get the ball off of those three. So, I feel like I would have tried to put a little bit more defensive and gone with the three midfielder of Fabinho,
that's
Casemiro,
the one.
and
Yeah,
Fred. I think that those bring you more energy and more power in that midfield. And I would have actually moved Neymar to his left wing position, and
yeah.
probably Richarlison still in the middle, and then move
Even play
and
a
have
3-4-3
Rafinha.
could have handled that. Because now you could play Anthony and Rafinha on the mids, and then have Vinicius and Rodrigo as right wings, or even Neymar as a right wing and Vinicius as a left wing, and then whoever you want as your striker. Even then, that would have been better. But it just that formation, it wasn't any good. I think we overreacted and to their wins against teams that weren't really good. Looking back at it now, because if that team beat you, then Croatia would have demolished those teams by way more.
Yeah, I can somewhat agree with you what you say there. I don't think I don't think this Croatia team is a team that like beats you 4-0, 5-0.
Yeah.
They're very
But they
technically
dominate
sound.
the game and they get the win.
They do
That's the
dominate
main thing.
they do dominate the games, but I don't think they're a team that beat you by a lot. But you bring up Pedro. I mean, he scored his penalty, and that's what was required with him at the minute. Yeah, he didn't affect the game, but he did he did score his penalty. Um,
But yeah, it's also like the same thing. It's like some players, like especially when they're young, they're already like they already have like a mindset of how they want to play or how they're playing. So it's your duty as a coach to teach them a new way to play,
yeah,
because that's not how he plays in the Copa Libertadores. He plays with the second striker.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think Rodrigo plays better when he's able to play off somebody as a second striker when he has someone to you know, connect with and make those, try
Pedro
the
Marquez,
wall
right?
passes. Who?
Pedro Marquez.
I was talking about Rodrigo, that he plays better with as a second striker.
Rodrigo goes.
Yeah, Rodrigo goes. Although he's good, because when you see him play with Real Madrid, when he plays as a striker, he likes to move to the left or to the right and try to like connect with the wingers
Yeah,
that
they
we have
like
there.
to cut in.
Yeah. Um, but
One more thing I wanted to say. There's the
okay,
last thing.
go ahead.
But
And that's it.
I think what ended up costing them is having too much attacking options because they couldn't link up. They were so uncomfortable, and I think that congested them into that place. And then Paqueta would come up, and then Casemiro's by himself. Now they break down easily. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think having too many attacking options kind of messed them up and backfired on them because Croatia played them perfectly,
Yeah, I think.
especially because their goalie had 11 saves, which man of the match performance from him.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it was it was I would think it was a goal in the last 5 minutes of the game, right? That Croatia scored and then
Yeah, well, that's what he means.
went on
Like
to the
if when you
penalties.
have too many attacking options and you're going all out, like you better you better hope that you're gonna like be able to secure that goal that you're gonna make, because you
Yeah,
can't just unbalance your team just like that just because it's not like you're trying to tie the game. You're trying to win it.
yeah.
So that's where he got his kind of tactics wrong.
All right, on to the next game, the Netherlands Argentina game. Um, man, this was a really exciting game. I think the only downfall is probably the officiating for this game that really brought it down a level. But you know, when we've seen two teams that really were trying to attack each other, were trying to play offensive football and to their capacity, you know. And then I think it was a goal from who was the first one that I think Woodworkers scored both the goals, right? For
Yeah,
Netherlands, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just seen Argentina backpedaling and try to. You almost felt like, oh my God, can they bottle this against Netherlands? But we're able to hold out for extra time and take it to penalties and just Emiliano Martinez again playing mind tricks that we know he loves to play and being able to get the better of the Netherlands penalty takers at the end. It got a little tricky because they did
well,
have,
it
who was
was
the
heated during the game.
yeah
Like the whole game, like was kind of heated because, and that's referee's fault because he was at first he was letting like people foul, and then he was giving yellow cards to everybody, and then it
19 yellow
didn't amount to
cards,
anything.
19 yellow cards,
Didn't amount to
crazy.
anything, and that's why people were just doing whatever they wanted because they knew what he wanted to cause.
Yeah,
So yeah, bad officiating.
yeah. Um, Overall, I think you know when you go to penalties and when you have a tie game as it is, I mean, there's a certain aspect of luck that goes into it. But you know, Argentina just doing what they had to do to advance to the next round. I'll start off with you, Junior.
Even though like it was a little bit back and forth, Argentina was dominating the whole game. They were, I think, the first half they were just Netherlands was in their pocket. I think it was more like you said, like Argentina was the one that bottled it or the one that was giving away the power. I don't think. I mean, you got to give the Netherlands credit when they, or Van Gaal credit for putting in Walkhorse and then who's the other guy?
Um,
What's his name? Oh,
Berghaus.
Luke De Jong. No, De Jong. Yeah, De Jong. Just having two star strikers in there,
mhm,
try to get something in there, and it worked for him.
yeah,
Like rarely does it kind of works for people, but it's also Argentina's fault because they were taking off their defenders because they had yellow cards. so
yeah,
so it played into them. Like I said, like if they didn't do that, maybe they could have like that wouldn't have happened. I mean, that second play, it was like nobody expected it. You were just
yeah,
like, "What? That worked?" It's one of
yeah,
those things you try on FIFA, and there's like, you make it.
yeah. It was. It felt like it was a little lucky for the Netherlands that they kind of
Yeah,
actually
that's
pulled
yeah.
off, but I mean, credit to them, they made it work. Um, Jordan, your thoughts?
Um, when I think about the that game, I even when they scored that second goal, and you saw how much Netherlands celebrated that, like, oh, we won, we won. They were celebrating like they won it, and I think that's where their mentality kind of faltered in the extra time because all their energy went into that celebration. That you could kind of tell that they were like, oh, we'll go to penalties and we'll win because we scored we came back, so we're gonna win. And it felt like they were like, "Oh, it's easy. We got it in the bag. We're gonna win." They already struggled, but during that extra time, Argentina was still attacking them. They were attacking way more. They got more shots on them, and I think that showed you that Argentina really wanted to win this game because Netherlands didn't really get to have a shot in the extra time that I can remember. I just remember they hit the post from an Enzo Fernandez shot. Lautaro had a couple good shots. Like they Netherlands just kind of laid back and were like, "Well, we'll go to penalties and we'll win." It's like they never scouted Emiliano Martinez, what he did in the Copa America, and a standout player from that game. I would have to give it to Molina, scoring that goal, an amazing goal with Messi from a fantastic pass from Messi. Like you just have, it's kind of like a reward for how good he's played in the group stage and in the quarterfinals and in the round of 16. I mean, but I think that guy had a standout game. The thing that about Netherlands was Weghorst. You should have started him. If you're going against one of the shortest teams overall, right, Junior? You have Weghorst, who's 6'3", 6'4". Luke De Jong, who's 6'2". It's like, does Van Gaal know that headers exist? Like you have that there. And Emiliano Martinez, it says not Emiliano, the center back, Lisandro Martinez. They say he's 5'10". He celebrates with Messi. They're the same height, dude. He's not that tall. Like I think you should have put that in. Yeah, he should have changed his tactics. But Van Gaal's kind of wants to do it his own way. It ended up costing him the win there. But I think as the whole game, like Junior says, you knew Argentina were going to win. Even with those two goals, you were like, they still have Emiliano Martinez. They have good penalty kickers. The Leandro Paredes kicking it to the bench, I think Netherlands kind of overreacted in that instance because they wasted a lot of time there, which they should have focused more on the game because I think they could have got two more goals if without wasting that time. Because he kicked it in a direction where it went to the bench, but no one was there. So like they could like overreacted, started the whole thing. And I told Junior when we were watching the game together, but they pushed Molina like he did it,
Yeah.
and no one pushes Leandro Paredes until Van Dyke shows up and pushes him. And it's like
That could have been a red card if any, like they could have just made it as a red card and that would have cost them the
Yeah.
game because now you're down one player and a very important player in Van Dijk.
Yep.
and also the ref. He's the guy who did the most remembered Clásico where there was punches, there was pushes, everybody got yellow cards, and you're thinking you're gonna put that ref in this such tense of a match. Like you should have known something was gonna go wrong.
Well, me and Colin that we watch La Liga, we know that that's what he's known for. He's known for
Mourinho famously
competition.
said that he loves the way he ref because he refers like an English ref. He likes like a lot of foul play and stuff like that. Physical.
But yeah,
He likes
that's
physical
all my
games. But
yeah, that's all my thoughts on that game. It was an amazing game though.
But also, yeah, like you said, props to Molina for getting a goal and for playing so, like a reward for playing so well during the group stages.
yeah,
And that Messi pass, beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I was watching. I was like, as soon as like he passed it, I was like, go. And then Jordan, well, he's gone, but he was like, wait, did you call it? And I was like, yeah,
that's actually pretty funny.
yeah. Like, watch, let me. Jordan, remember when I was like, goal when Messi passed it, and you were like, wait, did you call it?
You're muted.
I thought we were watching it on the same time, but he was watching it on a different coverage, and he was ahead. And when Messi was like cutting in, he was like goal, and I was like, hey, "Did Junior really get a call from there?" And he passed it in, and I was like, "What? The Junior got it out of the money?" And he was like, "Oh no, he was already like he had the ball," and I was like, "Oh, I thought you called it over there." But yeah.
But I called it when he passed it. I was like, goal, because I
Oh
saw him
yeah.
like,
Well, that's what I said.
yeah.
When he passed it, you were like, "Oh, goal," and I was like, "What the hell?" Junior thinks Junior's like that. That's going to be a goal.
You know
I
what
was
it
like,
reminds me? I mean, this is like they're totally different plays, but it reminds me the Fabregas Iniesta one, where he was by himself. Like he saw him being by himself, and he just passed it.
Yeah,
Just slided it in. That's
Yeah.
what it reminded me.
yeah. So Argentina and Croatia will face each other next in the semifinals. Um, that's gonna be a hard game to predict based on the two opponents. You have these big number 10s in these games, these big leaders, Messi versus Modric. Um, Even though Jordan says that there's Modric and 10 others.
Well,
but
it's funny
but
because
it's two, I think two great players that are gonna be remembered from this generation. Um, a Croatia team that is how we've been saying throughout the whole tournament. Collectively, they're a very very good team, um, and Argentina that how we were talking about when we were analyzing the other games feels like they rely a little bit on just moments of brilliance. But interestingly, I think we all know that it's probably going to be a game where Argentina and Croatia are going to try to get the possession of the ball. That's what they play better. Croatia and Argentina both very good at going at the counterattacks with their wide players. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. I'll go start off with you, Jordan. Your thoughts on this semifinal matchup?
Uh, I don't see it as Luka Modric and co. I see that the team is more than Modric. I feel like the team doesn't play through Modric. I feel like the team plays with Modric. They don't play for Modric. They don't do this. They don't go through Modric. They go through other channels, and Modric is just an added part. 'Cause although he is the captain, their goals for the last two games has been Perisic and Pa something you just said. What's his name?
Petkovic.
Petrovic? Petkovic?
Petkovic.
Petkovic?
Yes.
Petkovic. And you're just, he hasn't assisted. He got taken off the round of 16. So I think you're seeing, although they both are the number 10, I think this Croatia team doesn't rely solely on Modric. They create their own plays. And it's kind of the same with Messi. Although Messi does have moments of brilliance, that Argentina team could create by itself. But it chooses to go through Messi. It chooses to, this guy's our leader. We're going to go through him. When Modric is like, this guy's our leader, but we could play without him. We're good enough to play, make our own plays, and he's just an added bonus. But I see this game going to Argentina because if you score two goals on Croatia, they're out, instantly out. They're not a team that could come from behind. Two or three, if you get two or three on them early, the game's done there. But I think Molina's going to have a tough job against Perisic. The right back is playing really well for Croatia, and the left back, and we can't forget Gavardiol, a fantastic player. You see why he's linked to the big clubs. And Lovren, who you said before, he's one of the best center backs in the world.
Sure.
So they have the unity. That team is very good all around. But it's going to be a very exciting game because I see these teams kind of like they're kind of a yin and a yang, like not a yin and yang, but they're like the same. They have like the same parts where every player in their position has been playing well. Like I can't see a position on either team. I'm like that guy's been struggling. That guy's been struggling. I think all of them have been having good performances. This might be the game to watch, and I'm picking Argentina to win.
Junior.
Surprise, surprise. Well, I mean, just to say who's, I mean, not to say who's better, but I mean, they named Modric the Croatian Messi, so you can already know who influences more in these type of games. So, and that's another thing because like Modric he's way down in the midfield, and Messi plays more up high. So that way the link up play it always goes through Messi because even if when it doesn't, he goes for the ball. Like that ball where Papu Gomez just just touched it like really bad, and Messi was already there. Like you don't see like if Modric is gonna score, it's gonna be from long range, and that's just as deadly. Anytime I see Modric outside the box, I'm like, go for the shot, dude. Go for the shot because he has a great shot from outside the box.
Yeah.
So that's what I would worry. If defending Modric and Messi is just gonna be really hard. That's gonna be the key factors how well they play for their teams.
Especially that midfield battle is going to be interesting because on the Croatian side they are technically good and they are very physical. They love to get physical in that midfielder. Um, how many times I've seen it for Real Madrid where like Luka Modric is still at his 38 years old running back and like being very physical with the wingers and trying to track that ball down.
Yeah, he doesn't get credit for being a box-to-box guy because Kroos is there, but he is a box-to-box guy. He does defend really good, Modric.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that has really surprised me. That like, maybe in the last 2 years, because we've known Modric to be that type of player, but still later on in the years, he's still known for that. He's still trying to get the ball back and the aggression that he has. And you have a Brozovic next to him that it's a little bit more defensive and a little bit more hard tackling. Jordan can assure you of that, and with his Inter ways. And you have Kovacic that's just very technically good. He's able to for a long time in Real Madrid, we thought this guy was going to be the one to get the reins from Modric, but obviously he decided that he wanted to start, and he's been showing why he's been starting with Chelsea. Just very technically good and able to pass through opponents' line very easily. So I think that's going to be one of the main key battles in this matchup is just that midfield batter. Um,
Yeah, and if Leandro Paredes starts, because I think he will be really important.
yeah, I think it was. I think
And
Leandro Paredes and DePaul have been both clear to play. I think they both are what's it called? Are saying that they're expected to play against this Croatian team. So it's gonna be if all their midfielders are healthy for Argentina, it's gonna be a really good battle in there. Um,
yeah, but it makes you wonder who's going to be dropped, McAllister or Enzo,
yeah,
because they've both been having a great game.
yeah,
So I don't know if he'll put in Leandro Paredes as he has in the second half
hmm
or what his game plan is. But that's going to be interesting with their how they line up.
yeah. Um, did you give your predicted of who was gonna win, Trina?
I mean, do I have to? Argentina all the way.
Yeah, I would. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, I know it's hard, but I mean, last time they met, Croatia demolished.
Yeah,
Argentina.
three zero.
I couldn't believe how it reminded me when like they when Germany just demolished Argentina with that 4-0. The one
Mhm.
thing I gotta say, when you beat Argentina, they usually demolish the team.
Yeah,
So that's the only way to beat Argentina. Like get some like early goals in, and I don't think Argentina comes back. I
yeah,
don't think they're like you know how Croatia's the comeback, the comeback kids. Argentina is not definitely not that.
yeah. Just a couple of notes that been coming out of from the Croatian camp. Getting ready for the Mountains. I think it was Perisic that had said that they're trying to work hard and play hard to win to give Modric his World Cup. I think that just lets you know of how much these guys feel towards this player. That he's probably how Jordan has said that he's not the only one providing for the league, but they know how big a player Modric is for this team. And then that's why he wears their captain armband. But they
Right,
want to what?
no, sorry.
Oh, yeah, they want to win the World Cup for him, and
Well, because he's one of like the greatest Croatian players besides Suker, but he was like the next guy that came in with what's that tall guy Mandzukic. But like another player that was supposed to live up to that expectation but got horribly injured was Eduardo, who was supposed to be that Croatian into these teams. They always have talent, but I think Modric, the success of Modric in the Premier League, and then going to play Mandzukic, I think that gives those Croatian young players the chance to, we could go out of Croatia and play good. And you've seen that. How many Croatian players that they're like, this guy's going to be a good youngster. This guy's in his prime right now. This guy's. And I think Modric was a big part of that, especially when he won the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah,
yeah, and
imagine.
especially come going from my bad. I'll say something and then you can have. But going from like voted at the worst transfers in 2014 to like being one of the best
Well, whoever wrote that
midfielders.
whatever newspaper journalist wrote
It
that,
was
they're the
not
dumbest
It
people
was it
ever.
was the fans. The fans voted that. It was just a poll.
They're the dumbest fans ever. That's what it is. Because people think transfers with that 1 year they come in and that's it. It's a process, dude. You can't just go in a team. Players sometimes do, but like Haaland succeeded in the first year. But
but
players need
also
to adjust, especially because he was coming from the Premier League.
but
Like
wasn't it
it's
a
a
rebuild?
difference.
That's what also I remember. It was a rebuild, and they had like so many midfielders. Like most of them, like didn't even pan out. Like I think
Yeah,
the only one that did pan out was Modric from all those guys that they had gotten.
yeah.
It was like Pedro Leon,
Well,
Ilamendi.
they had
and the other guys, the
well,
youngster.
Ilamendi came a year after that, but it was Modric. Xavi Alonso was still there. Sami Khedira. Um, Michael Essien was brought in. I don't know if you guys remember, but he was brought in January as well. They had Uzio in that midfielder as well. Lasana Diarra was still in that midfielder. So yeah, it was a midfielder that was going through transitions.
Yeah. Like, and he wasn't getting as much playing time. I think that's what it was as well.
Yeah,
And when he was, it was just they were bad games. not just
Mhm.
his, but like the whole team. Like I said, it was just
Yeah,
how they were fading,
that whole
especially how they were playing two in the back. I mean, like five midfielders, but there was like they were still playing with the two pivots,
yeah
right?
2-3-1. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was just a bad year for Real Madrid in total, but yeah, it was a very difficult year. But he showed his quality that next year when he was when they won the Champions League in that year. But um, was there something else I wanted to add to that about that Croatian team?
yeah. You love Real Madrid. We get it.
No, it was like some
Ballon
news.
d'Or was robbed. Hot take.
You were talking about Perisic wanting to win the World Cup for Modric.
Yeah, because I think that because the question was like how they were gonna face off this Argentina team that looked so strong that they're trying to play like they're playing for Messi.
Hmm.
So Messi wins his World Cup, and then he was like, "Well, we're playing it for Modric." Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's the
Just
deal.
it's gonna be an interesting game. Put
Who you're
simply.
picking?
That's a for sure.
Um, I'm gonna go. I'm
Just
gonna
like Croatia, bro.
I'm gonna go with Croatia for the upset. I'm just gonna go. I don't know. I just have a feeling. I just have a feeling something might happen, and so I'm gonna
Oh,
go
also,
Croatia.
by the way, both teams have an Inter player. That's another thing.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's gonna be another. If I was the manager, I would pick Lautaro to start this Lautaro game. More physical. I think he could take on Cavado.
Yeah.
That's why I would wait.
All right.
Okay, dude.
Next, let's go on to the other side of the bracket, where we analyze Morocco versus Portugal. Um, a Morocco team that just in the opening 15 minutes took their chance from a counter and just what we've seen against Spain, against this Belgium team, is just close out the opponent, make it difficult to play out, and defend very well, and very deep and very narrow to make it difficult for them to get into the space that they want. Um, a Portugal side that just didn't seem to find an answer to Morocco's questions. Very difficult Morocco side to break down, and especially since they had no speed to go beyond. Players like Leao, Felix, and Goncalo Ramos just didn't find that space so they could attack, and just made it difficult for this Portugal team to get anything. There were a couple chances late on, once Ronaldo came on, and a very good chance from Pepe for a corner, I believe. But
Yeah.
just
Yeah, hit the post, right?
not did it hit?
No, I
I
went.
think no. I think it just went.
Oh,
It,
yeah,
it just
slightly missed the post.
it just they weren't able to find anything. But um,
But
we'll
I was
talk.
gonna say deja vu again for Portugal. That Greece game,
Yeah,
it felt like the same way. They were getting chances left and right, and then they just couldn't score.
yeah. Um, I'll give my hot take, but I feel like Ronaldo should have started this game from minute one. I just feel when you go against this Moroccan side that are gonna park the bus and keep us, you need a number 9 that's gonna be able to go up against these defenders and make some physical battle out of these defenders to at least try to get something. Because you're not gonna beat this Moroccan side on a counter or on speed, because they just won't give you that space, especially with Hakimi and Mazraoui, two of the youngest up upcoming fullbacks with a lot of speed and that can go back and forth. Um,
Yeah.
I just think if you needed a Ronaldo presence from minute one to attack that box. But I'll start with you first, Junior.
The same, like the reason why he like it's crazy. Like me, if I'm resting a player like Ronaldo, it's for you to play him in the next game. I think, or so for he have like more rested legs than other players. So in my mind, if you're gonna not start him, and if you're that's already your game plan, like coming into the second half, I don't know why he took so long to put him in. 5 minutes into the game, like if that was already your game plan, why not have him from the beginning of the second half? I
Yeah.
just thought that was kind of crazy for him to like waste, or not waste, but like waste like 5 minutes of the game plan that you were putting in for the second half. Like, well, you thought you were gonna get a goal like in 5 minutes or what?
Yeah.
I just thought his tactics were wrong, and then the same with Leao. If you know you have somebody who has speed and who has his shot, like as soon as he gets you in that place like where he could get that shot, chances are he's gonna might score or he's gonna get something off of that.
Yeah.
So those were two players, and not just saying because two players that I like, but it's just why not put these two players?
Yeah.
So I just
Jordan.
thought that was like it was on him. Like this game is on him, and for good reason. I don't know if he quit because he should have.
Nah, I don't think. I don't
No.
think he has
No,
quit.
he
No,
didn't quit.
he's
Yeah,
still
he.
on.
I mean, I feel like he's gonna quit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jordan. Jordan, your thoughts?
Uh, just to pick off where you guys saying your hot takes, he should start since minute one. I think you meant to say he should start the game since minute zero because there's some seconds before one. But
technically on the clock, as soon as you score, even if it's seconds, it's minute one. So
what I don't think he should have started him. I think he should have given Goncalo Ramos a chance to play because he just scored a hat trick. I think what he should have done as soon as you got scored on in the 15 minute, he should have been like, okay, we got to change the game plan. Goncalo Ramos, you're out, and we'll bring in another player. Which I don't like that they started Thiago Dalot, who I know he's a fantastic youngster, Manchester United. Oh, he's gonna be good. You have João Cancelo sitting on the bench, and then you bring him in for your left back. I don't know if you guys know this, but João Cancelo hits with his right. He's a righty, so he has to cross like that. That's a very comfortable position to put him in, and I think they should have let Carrero in and taken out Dalot because Dalot's not going to create attacking options. Cancelo is, and Guerrero, he has one assist and two assists and one goal. He's obviously your guy crossing it in for Goncalo Ramos, Ronaldo, your right wings, your left wings. I just think the plan was all messed up. I think he thought too much about it because I think he kept like the same formation basically, but he took out Guerrero, I think he's probably the one of the best players at Borussia Dortmund and probably the best left back they have available. So you have to play him. I know they have Nuno Mendes, but this guy has been playing the best at that position. And I think that was a big mistake putting Cancelo as a left back because you could see at the end of the game, he was trying to cross it, turn his body, and they just block it. It's because I think that was just a mistake by the coach. Like you say, you ride the hot hand, which is Goncalo Ramos. He didn't score in those first 15 minutes. Maybe give him 5 more minutes, then be like, okay, we got to put in Ronaldo because Ronaldo's a striker.
yeah, but even then, like you saw in the first, when I watched back the highlights because I didn't watch the game, you saw that they weren't creating much with him. Like if you're not creating with him, because like then like I said, like why wait 5 minutes in? Like he's gonna score 5 goals in when they already have him in the pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's not how it works.
No, I'm saying give him a chance, and then they got
Yeah, you
scored
gave
on
him a whole
early.
half.
And when you get scored early and your player's already out of it, you should have seen as soon as they got scored on, see how they were playing you and adjust. That's what a manager needs to do. You need to adjust every scenario. You see Scaloni adjusting every time someone makes a change. He's like, oh, okay, I got to put this guy in. You got to respond, and he didn't respond. I felt like he was like, oh, our game plan will work. And then dude, it's crazy. João Cancelo, he's a right back. You're playing him as a left back. He's the guy. Him and Guerrero are guys that cross in to I don't know, maybe the best header and Cristiano Ronaldo. It doesn't make sense. It literally didn't make any sense. Diego Dalot.
Diego Dalot. I mean,
He didn't do anything.
He's been
Like if you were to
he's
get
been
like
having
if you had a better right back, then that would have made more sense. But to play him as a left back because you don't want him. But you have two good fullbacks, and like you said, Rafael Guerrero and Joao Cancelo. So I don't know, like you said, like he was overthinking it. He's like, just go with your game plan. Like just go. Like, are we better attacking or defending? Oh, we're better at attacking. So just attack.
Yeah, how I said, I still, when we talk about our big players giving and the big matches, I think this is a match where Cristiano Ronaldo should have started from the get go. I know Ramos had scored a hat trick in the prior game, but I just feel, Switzerland is gonna try to give you that space because they try to attack you as well. So there was a lot of space to be exploited in that game, and Morocco's side that how we've been seeing from the Spain against the game against Spain and what we talked about that Spain were missing, they were missing that number 9 threat to attack those areas in that pitch. And I feel like this is a game that Cristiano Ronaldo, especially with Guerreiro, Bruno Fernandes, João Cancelo, guys that can give you crosses into quality crosses
Arnold
into the
Silva.
penalty. Bernardo Silva as well, players that can get that ball in the area, and do something dangerous. I think this was like I don't know how you do not scout this team and be like, oh, we need Ronaldo in this game because of his presence in the area. I
It's
just
like
feel,
they didn't even see the Spain game. You didn't see what their plan
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
Score, stay back defensively, and
Even
they're like, "Oh, we'll try to attack him like this." It's like, no, dude, it doesn't work.
even then,
But
like, oh, go ahead.
I wanted to give a shout out. I want to stop talking about Portugal because Portugal just it annoys me how these coaches are incapable of changing their ways. Like your game plan didn't work, change it, adjust. That's what great managers do. They adjust their game plan, and
Shout
he
out.
adjusted too late, or maybe he didn't adjust at all because it felt like he just put the same players he always put. But I was gonna say that that Morocco team very well defensively. Amrabat, fantastic midfield, and I got to correct because last podcast I said he was a Valencia guy. He never played for Valencia. He played for Utrecht, and then he went to Feyenoord, and then now he's at Fiorentina. So my apologies, I got him confused with Fegoli
Yeah.
because they're both bald guys. That's why I got him confused. But I was also going to say that I was watching on the Fox coverage, and I think it was Ali Wagner who was doing the analyst, a female, the female soccer player, right? She played soccer.
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you know what team? I don't.
The United States.
well the U.S.
No, but I was going to ask like club.
Oh,
Okay.
club.
But,
No, I'm not. I can't think of it right now.
but
Yes.
she was highlighting number 8 for them. I don't know his name. It's a hard name to say. But he was playing fantastic in the midfield. He would take the ball, build up the play. And like you said, Hakimi and Mazraoui, who I refer to him as a Maserati because that guy's fast as hell. But they just played perfectly. They played defensively perfectly. I think Mourinho would have been proud of that performance. He would have been like, that's how you park the bus. But just out tactic them. And this coach has been with them for like more than 20 years, I think they were saying. So this coach has relationships with everybody. Like you gotta notice that the difference in styles of coaching. Who the Morocco coach, they were saying he's been there for like more than 10 years or 20 years, some shit like that.
Well, he just got in. I think. I don't know. I want to say October, but he just recently got there because they fired the other coach because he didn't want to. He was having problems with Ziyech. Remember that?
Yeah,
That Ziyech wasn't going to the national team, and then they got this coach. So I think he knows these players. I don't know if he's been coaching them 20 years.
yeah. He
Well, that's what
probably
they said.
maybe he was like an assistant for a while, or I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, I think that one might have been. Yeah,
Well, they said he's been there a long time. So you see that, and Portugal guy has been there since what the heck? He's been there long at that.
when Cristiano Ronaldo won it.
Well, yeah. Now people will look back and be like,
I
"Oh,
was gonna
Cristiano
tell you
Ronaldo's
about
actually
that.
coaching that.
Yeah,
Cristiano Ronaldo's actually coaching them that tournament."
they all
I think you
fret
can clearly
way
say
too
that
much.
after you've seen this performance that they had, that Cristiano Ronaldo was clearly coaching them. They played better in the second half when Ronaldo was there. But there's a lot of bad coaching in these games.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what has been costing these teams
Bad
in these
referee.
finals.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that too.
On to the next game that happened on that Saturday, the England versus France game. 2-1, France were able to beat England. Um, some some say some under par
Suspicious.
referee performances again in this game. Um, France opened the scoreline with that outside the box shot from Chouameni, right in the bottom corner from Hugo Lloris. Um, England were able to capitalize with that penalty. Um, Olivier Giroud finding a ball in that area and being able to convert it from close range, and then and England missing a late penalty to equalize the game and maybe take it to extra time. Um, I think this was a pretty even a game from football wise on what they've both offered. Just France being more clinical when they had to be, taking their opportunities, and an England team that's gonna look at this chance as a maybe a chance that they could have done something in this World Cup. Um, we keep talking about this England team of how they underperform sometimes, and how the quality on the team itself doesn't match the quality on the pitch. Um, I don't know. I felt like this was a chance where which England could have probably been a little bit more disappointed from what the result that they got, but a France team, how I said that just took the chances and that need to be that took opportunity of the chances given to them. Um, Jordan, I'll start with you first.
I think the refing cost them the penalty very early on of the foul that Upamecano did, which was a clearly foul. Everybody saw it. He puts his leg in between him running and kicks him. They didn't even touch the ball. I don't know how the ref misses that. And I feel like refs that have been messing up have ignored VAR completely. They literally never use it. They literally never go to it. And you think that's a completely different game if they get one goal up. Now you're playing at their advantage. And you saying that France had were more clinical, but England had more opportunities. England were dominating them the whole first half. They were getting more from their team. I think Maguire played a great game. Stones played a great game. Walker played a great game, and they completely shut down Mbappe, which I guess their plan worked, but maybe they should have focused on winning instead of just blocking Mbappe. Maybe your plan should have been to stop France, not just Mbappe, because they forget Giroud. I mean, goal scorer of all time for France, and Chouameni. Being that wide open there, you know he's gonna take the shot, and he finessed it. Did like an out finesse. You know what I mean? Like he finessed it going out, which is always hard for a goalkeeper to read because you see it coming close and then it goes far. You're like, oh, I thought I was right there. But you love to see France go through because they are kind of like the younger, fresher. They are the World Cup champs. I personally don't like Mbappe. I think he's kind of overrated. But you see how he plays, and you're like, yeah, you understand how good he is. I just feel like he's overrated on how people view him just because he won a World Cup at a young age. I think he's still overrated. I think he still has something to prove, and I think this game proved that you could lock down Mbappe, but you just have to lock down the whole team too.
Yeah,
England, Kane. Also, the last thing I'll say, Kane missing the penalty. That's why you're at Spurs, dude. That's why you never won a trophy, dude. That's it.
I
But
was gonna
that
say
you
that I said that France were clinical
like
because the chances that they got, they were able to convert, like England. That's why I said they were more clinical when they needed to
yeah.
be. But
Yeah, I said you were right on that they were more clinical, but I was just saying England had more opportunities, but at the last thing they were just messed it up.
uh, Junior, your thoughts on this game?
Southgate out. I told you, like even if he tries to play them, more like attractive football. At the end of the day, he's got his tactics wrong in some sense because he still lost the game. Like you said, like it worked for a little bit, blocking out Mbappe, but at the end of the game, like you got to win the game. Like it's not just. And then people are saying like, "Oh, this is a good showing" or whatnot. Like, okay, but like what's it be having a good showing if you're not gonna win?
Yeah.
It's the same with that Spain. Is like they're down in the possession. They have the better
You don't
football.
win. You don't win World Cups on good showings. You win
Yeah,
it by winning the game. That's the main thing.
yeah, exactly. So
What
I don't
does
know
this
why.
matter? People aren't going to remember England and be like, "Oh, but they had a good showing that year." Remember
Remember when
that?
they lost against Italy? Remember when they like what?
Yeah, but they had a good showing in that tournament, Junior. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter bringing it home. That doesn't matter. It matters having good showings.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was
And
never home. The first people to win it were Uruguay. So if anything, Uruguay should be saying that.
I was gonna say, and they're not gonna be. They're not a standout team from this tournament. If anything, Morocco's gonna be the team that's gonna be
Yeah, there
remembered
were no
from.
Belgium 2018, my guy. You know what I mean? That was a standout team.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the tactics of it, I just don't. Still playing with the Henderson. To me, it just doesn't seem right. You know what I mean? Like as much as of a good player, it's just like oh, you have Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, Mason Mount, Foden. I don't know. I would have put Foden in the midfield so I could have more attacking players up front, and then have them in the back end of them defending. Because you saw it in this game how bad they could be at defending as well.
Yeah.
Like, and especially with that penalty, that was a penalty. I don't know why. Like you said, like why didn't he go for the to look at? Why did nobody in VAR be like, hey, go check this out?
Mhm.
Upamecano Kerry Kane kind of exposed Upamecano because he played him really well.
Yeah, exactly. So if you go into like tricky players like a Grealish, like a Sterling, like a Mason Mount, and Mason Mount didn't even try to do anything. He was just running, and then he just hit him with a foul. Like he was never gonna get to that ball. But like, see what you could have done with like having them more like exposing them defensively when you get them behind their back.
Yeah.
Like that's the way to win it, not just blocking Mbappe and then see what happens next.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where his game plan went wrong, especially being defensive with Henderson. And I know you need some defensive liability, but you have Declan Rice. Declan Rice has been a great player this whole time. Like he's been defending. That's why they have John Stones and what's his name, Harry Maguire haven't been as exposed because Declan Rice is right there with them almost all the time.
Jude Bellingham as well plays that box to box role as well.
Yeah,
He
but
has
he's
that.
boxed. But I mean, like the more defensive, like in intercepting, Declan Rice has a standout tournament. If he doesn't go to Chelsea by now, like I don't think we'll ever get on.
You guys lost him. You lost him. That's it. He's never
We
going back.
made him. We made him.
Yeah, you made him and you abandoned him. You threw him away. You
No,
said, I don't
he
want to
left.
play with this anymore. Let me
He
bring me
left.
back Mason
He
Mount. You
He
chose,
left.
and you chose wrong.
Does Mason Mount have a Champions League? All right.
Oh,
Yeah, that's all that matters.
it
Do you have a
matters so
Champions
much.
League?
It matters so much, but
Does
you're
Saka-
still
does
crying for
Saka-
Declan Rice. You're still crying for Declan Rice, aren't you?
I'm
You're
not
still crying for him.
I'm just
Oh,
saying.
but if he comes back, if he comes back,
Would I
Isn't
rather
that
have
what you're
English
saying?
players? Would I rather not have English players at Chelsea? Yeah.
well, yeah, that's why you guys got Drinkwater that one year. Remember, because you guys weren't getting enough English players.
Yeah, we needed English players. I mean, what am I going to tell you? I'm not going to hide it.
Oh my gosh.
I was gonna say something, but I instantly forgot it.
Yeah, because you're being jerk.
You were trying to start an argument with Junior.
No, because I just found it funny. No argument. I'm joking. But I was gonna say something about England. Damn, I just instantly forgot it. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that England literally don't have any players outside of their league,
Oh, yeah.
and that's a big problem. Is Jude Bellingham's your only guy, and he was the guy who played the best in the tournament. So if anything, that tells you that England needs to get out of that bubble of the Premier League, and that's it. It helped Spain win La Liga, win the World Cup when they just had like mostly La Liga, but it's not the same with the Premier League. For some reason, having an all Premier League doesn't work. It doesn't work.
When Bayern won it, when Germany won it, there was a core of Bayern players. When Spain won it, there was a core of Barcelona players. So if you have a lot of players that are playing like the same nationality, and that's your core, that you can build off of that because there's a playing style there. But England, like I said, it's just very pragmatic. It's just very what you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's not that impressive as a Spain would have been or a Germany. Like they have
yeah,
like
because even then you build chemistry with those players, and then you're taking that chemistry into another team. That
honestly,
chemistry is already there, and you just add pieces to that
and
chemistry.
me saying that, like their core should have been the Liverpool. I don't know why, even as defensively as bad as I think Trent is, like he's still a very good right back going forward. Why wasn't he used on a very defensively, lopsided France?
Yeah,
That could have been your answer, like, but they never did anything with it.
and they were,
But the thing I want
and
to
I was gonna say,
go ahead.
Mateo Hernandez was getting caught on the wrong foot a lot of times. They were able to catch him on the
That's what
left
I'm
side
saying. Like,
because he's so attacked. So I see what you say that Trent would have been a good option to
yeah,
attack that
exactly.
route.
It's like, are we not watching the same game? Like, you're getting paid. I'm not getting paid, and I'm watching this, and I'm like so far away. Like, and I get I have more of a bigger vantage point, but at the same time, that's why you have 27 whatever staff members. Nobody's saying anything.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Another thing I want to say with this goes into the Inter Milan and Bayern Munich in the final. Upamecano plays for Bayern Munich. Another coincidence, I think, if we look at it.
Well, Pavard too, right? Pavard.
Yeah, but Upamecano is like the main guy. He's like the best guy. You know what I mean?
And back to when we mentioned that, it's been going on since 1982. So since the World
Wow,
Cup in 1982, that's been going on.
that's crazy.
And Harry Kane had the chance to go to
Bayern Munich,
Bayern
yeah,
Munich,
we're talking about him.
so maybe we see a different tournament if he goes. I don't know.
And Harry Maguire, both of them. Wow.
Whoever's watching this from England who's gonna play in the next World Cup, join Bayern Munich or Inter Milan. You'll go to the final. You'll go to the final.
Even if it's just on loan, just go go to one of those teams.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't work on loan because Lukaku got eliminated. So it doesn't work if you go on loan.
All right. Well, the matchup for the semifinal is France Morocco. Um, it's a very one. I feel like it's gonna be a very one sided. What I mean by that is one team's gonna get the possession and Morocco's just gonna try to hope for that one chance and being able to convert. We talk about how France have their difficulty defending, very lopsided once they go and attack. A Morocco side that you look at their wing players, right? Mozarawi, Hakimi, Boufal, and Ziyech. Very, very fast and can get you on the counterattack. And with Nexeri, a very how he's proved in the Portugal game. If you give him one chance, that he'll be able to convert it from that. Very good box player in the other side. So it's going to be an interesting matchup because I think Morocco can cause England problem this French team problems with the defensive space that we've been seeing from France, especially in that England against that England team. Um, I'm gonna go for the upset, and I think Morocco beats France in the semifinal. I'll go
So
with
you Morocco, Croatia. That's what you want.
uh, well, Croatia or Morocco. That could be that could go either way, but I'm gonna go Morocco makes the upset in the semifinal.
But I mean, if you're predicting this, that would be your final then. Croatia, Morocco.
Yeah, and I go for Morocco winning the World Cup.
You just want to watch the world burn, huh?
I just want to see the first African team to win the World Cup. That's all.
Yeah, I should have gone to Roger Morgan's Cameroon.
I'll go with you, Ferl Junior.
Who do I think is gonna win?
Just talk about the matchups, and then you can give your prediction.
Yeah, I like you said. They're both. I think Morocco's game plan is just to get them in the counter. I think they will do their homework and see how what England didn't do against France. But it's just France. I think like their attack. It's like I remember that Argentina France game. Like Argentina scored 3 on them, but they just scored 4 on you.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's how it might play out. like however many you score on them, like they'll score more on them. But another thing is like, and I forget, like it's like we forgot about this, how solid Morocco has been. 0 goals from
Yeah.
open play or anything. It's just they only have one own goal on them,
Mhm.
and I was like, wait, what? I didn't even. That's like because every game has been like basically an upset, really, because they've achieved more than they were bargained for in this World Cup. I don't think
Mhm.
anybody had them even, advancing this far. Like group stages, like you know, that's a shot in the dark with the team they were having. I mean,
Mhm.
the teams that were in there, but other than that, I don't think anybody had them to make it out as like this and to just be one goal deficit on them.
Yeah.
So that tells you a lot of how they defend in blocks. I think that's very important. It's
Yeah.
very old school minded how they defend, and like you said, yeah, Mourinho would be proud of this team how well they defend.
Yeah.
But it's not anybody could defend this way. Not everybody knows how to defend this way. So that the fact that, like I said, that he made him play this way in such few months is all the praise for the Morocco coach.
Yeah.
But I think Mbappe showcase on his friend. He'll try to expose him. He knows him, so he'll try to expose Hakimi as much as he wants or can.
Yeah. And one more thing before I take it over to you, Jordan. Yeah, I would say a lot of these moments, because we just watch it, we think most of it is physically, but it's a lot of mental, of being able to know when to drop, when to follow your player, when to give off, take back a little bit from the attacker, when to actually close them down. So it's a lot of mental work that this Morocco team has been able to do to defend the way that they've been doing. Where have you said no goals from open play? So that's a very, 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 very mentally and physically um, amazing performance from this Moroccan side. Jordan, your thoughts? You're muted.
Are we gonna give the score lines too of what the game will
Hey,
be?
wow.
If you want.
We didn't get scoreline.
Who'd you pick, Morocco, Gina?
No,
No,
you
Cali
picked
picked
France.
Morocco. I picked France.
Oh, France.
Mbappe showcase. Hakimi showcase.
Kind of biased picks if you think about it. France and Argentina. A lot of players play for PSG. Messi and Mbappe. We
Well,
got a
maybe that's a
biased
new one.
boy over here.
Ever since 2022, there's been a PSG player in a final.
Well, in 2018 he was at PSG, right? So yeah, I guess it could be.
Oh, Mbappe, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, yeah, Morocco. It's you could pick them to be the upset and look like a genius. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, no one expected this. Like the other analysts do. But like
Well,
when you really look at the game, the games have always been close, and Morocco has dictated that. There's never been like a blowout game where it's like 3-0 or like they're 3-1 or like 4-1, where it's a very like high scoring game. And I think France are willing to be like, okay, you want to counterattack us? We'll counterattack you back. That's what we're really good at. Like we have some of the fastest wingers. You don't have a fast winger on the left. Dembele could take on him a guy who doesn't even know if he's a lefty or a righty. That's how good he is. I see this France team winning. Oh well, Giroud obviously. I just it's an obvious choice. They don't want to sometimes want to mention, but Rabiot, who's people forget because he went to Juventus and he's not PSG. He's deadly. He's deadly, dude. He's deadly with that outside shot, and I think Chouameni is also a player that's deadly with that outside shot, like we just seen. But Rabiot adds power to his shot. That Chouameni kind of places it in the corners. Rabiot just kicks it like that. You're like, holy shit. But
another
I'm gonna
standout
go with
player.
I'm gonna go with France, and I'm thinking it in my head. I could see this game being like a 2-0, but this might be the dumbest take, but I'm gonna say 4-0. Because I know you guys are like, oh, they haven't got scored on in open play, but I think when a team is too focused on that, I think you're due getting goals on them. I think it's due. It's coming to them. And I
Wow.
think France will win 4-0. Argentina versus Croatia. I'm gonna pick that game to be a 3-1 for Argentina. I just see a lot of goals coming in because it hasn't been in of late. I feel like this is the time when managers urge your team to go more forward, and that causes you getting scored on. But we'll see.
I feel like this is the opposite. This is when managers try to preserve that 0-0 because it gets into the you're in the semifinal and the final, and you try to prevent that from happening.
No,
Uh,
that's group stage mentality. That's why there was a bunch of draws because they were like, "Oh, we got to be very defensive." That's a group stage thing, and this is the time when we got to go forward. We can't afford going to. We're not Croatia. We can't afford going to penalties. We got to win it here because penalties. I know you guys are like, "Oh, it's luck, luck." It's a lot of statistics to it now because you have every penalty of a player has ever shot. You could study up on him. You know how much percentage it is. You know where he likes to shoot it. You know how to get in their head. Emiliano Martinez is really good at doing. Livakovic was more of like, I just know what to do. I don't need to get in your head. You saw a Netherlands player, you try to get in someone's head, failed. So like, you can see how those tactics fail you, but it's not as much luck. There's still luck, but it's more
Well,
statistical now because
it's
there's
like
only three
everything.
places you can shoot it and six spots. What is that? That's 33%, places of a probability you're going to shoot it. Divide that up, 11% chance you're going to shoot it each corner. And you see that and you're like, oh my God, 11% chance that he's going to shoot at either corner at the top, down, top, down, top, down. But you could see what percentage they're shooting it at. You know what I mean?
I think I know why Junior is laughing because he's thinking of the Scott Steiner fucking
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that's might have
he's
come up.
my idol. But there's a probability now that you know the hot zones, especially with the new stuff that the Bundesliga has and the Premier League has, La Liga. They have everything on you.
Yeah.
So I think it's not that much luck. I think it's more statistical. I think the luck comes when the goalie mishandles the ball and it slips through their finger. I think that's where luck comes in more. But
And
there's going to be more attacking, I think.
I was watching some older players. I think it was like Craig Burley, and they had like other players talking about how they took their penalty. I think it was Luis Garcia too as well. Like how they take penalties, of how different it's changed as well. Like people would just like used to put the ball, have their space, and then like as soon as the ref will blow the whistle, they would just run up to it and then just kick it wherever they were gonna kick it, like whatever they had chosen before.
hmm
And now it's just like they'll lose like a little step, or they'll like keep looking, and then or try to just look at the side, or try to taunt the goalkeeper and all these things. And
That
just
was
like,
the thing I noticed when Netherlands took their penalties. Two or three of their players, as soon as the ref blew the whistle, they took it. And
mm,
I think that puts you at a disadvantage because the goalie doesn't have to overthink. He goes with instinct, or he goes with oh, he shot it here before I'll go there. And I think that's kind of bad of them. Argentina took their time. The ref would blow it, and they're like taking their time. Now the goalie's overthinking. Oh, where is he gonna go?
but
Is he gonna
yeah,
go
there's
here? Is he
still
gonna go
truth
here?
to that, because
Well,
they
yeah,
were
there is.
nervous. They were nervous. That's why they wanted to take it. They would get. That's another thing they were talking about. Like you could see some players when they want to get like, I want to get this over, so I'm just gonna put it the ball, kid it, whatever it comes. I hit the ball when I.
You know, it's a perfect example of that. David Luiz and the final against Bayern. He literally the whistle blows. He just shoots it straight up. He just shoots it straight up to get just over it and done with against Neuer. But that's a perfect example of that, of a player just going like, "All right, I gotta do this." It just powers it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like it's just, I feel like, yeah, like you said, like people overthink it because there are these different stats. So me, I just be like, I'm gonna go into penalties. Like no fucking way. I'm winning this game right here, even if I get whatever it takes. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just up to the manager how they see their team fit. How I said, I think Croatia would uh, take their chances going to penalties. Um, you
Yeah, they
know,
would.
and but okay. Now
That's
that
their
we got
secret power.
oh,
Wait,
that's the other thing I was gonna say that now that I remember that Modric was saying that Croatia have like the same mentality that he feels Croatia has the same mentality that Real Madrid has for when teams get cut, where it's just like till the ultimate death. They until the final whistle blows, they feel like they can get a point or like can get something out of this game. So that's what he was comparing from the Croatia against Real Madrid. And so, on to a couple of just the news that are coming off from the World Cup. Hazard announcing his retirement from the national team. Junior, I'll go with you first and let you talk a little bit because I know Hazard was a very big player for you. Um, and you have actually followed this player for a long time.
Yeah, since the
let's
little
give our
days.
respect. Let's give a moment of silence. All right, starting now.
Okay, we're not going to do that. He isn't dead. He's just,
Yeah, a moment of silence for the what could have been. I think that COVID years really affected him. Like, what's one of the players that affected him the most? I think if Hazard would have been at least, or no, 80% Hazard, I think this tournament would have been different for them. You see how much they depend on Hazard.
yeah.
I know, like for some games they didn't have Hazard and they made it through with some De Bruyne goals, but you also got to see the opposition that they were facing. They were a position that was letting them do what they wanted as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you see that when an opponent is trying to close on them, you need a player like a Hazard.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, it sucks to say, but he shouldn't have been starting.
Yeah.
It should have been Truzard.
Yeah.
Truzard should have been starting, and then if it wasn't that it didn't play out, let Hazard try to do his magic for the last few moments of the game, few minutes of the game. I think that would have worked better for this Belgium team, and just what a standout career. Like I said, what could have been for like if he would have taken care of his body. I think the years that he was in Real Madrid, they were completely wasted. Even though he got his ultimate goal being a Champions League winner, I think they were wasted. He didn't take much part
Yeah.
in that squad in some sense,
Yeah.
but he got his wish of winning a Champions League, and that 2018 team. I really saw them trying to, or me, like winning it. I think that he had one of the best stand-up performances, and I think it fell into what the other people were doing in that team. They were just even De Bruyne was one step below Hazard. Hazard was carrying that team. I think he, aside from Messi, I think he's the second player that had the most man of the matches in the World Cup.
Yeah.
So this just goes to show you what level he was playing at that time.
Yeah, I feel like Hazard is a prime example of like the just talent that can't carry you in your career. That you need that
Yeah.
hard work. I feel like if he would have had that drive that Cristiano Ronaldo, he would have been up there with them. He probably been up there with the goal conversations, and he was for most of his time with Chelsea. Um, but there would be some years where like Hazard wasn't himself in Chelsea, or he would have like
But it's
a
also,
below performance.
I was gonna say that also involved how many coaches we had in his lifetime.
Yeah,
I think if we was had like a steady coach, like imagine what could have been with a Pep, with an Ancelotti, with a Jurgen Klopp, with some of these coaches that usually get more time in their teams.
yeah,
I think
La
he would.
Volpe.
Uh, Nobody was an act, but just that the players that are managers that actually want to like develop players and take them to another level. I think Mourinho tried to do that, but like Mourinho tried to make him more defensive, and that was never going to happen with Hazard. Hazard is one of, like you said, is those talent type of players. Like he's like, I'm doing my part. I'm
yeah,
attacking. I'm creating chances. You want me to defend now as well?
yeah,
Like only some players are going to do it. Like if you have a guy like Hazard, like you know what I mean? Like I just
yeah,
and me as a player, if I see a guy like Hazard, like I'm gonna take his duties of defending.
yeah,
He's doing so much for our teams. Like it's like a Ozil. Like me as a player, if I see Ozil just creating and creating chance after chance, I'm like, yeah, I'll defend more so
yeah,
we could keep winning with these chances. Like why would I not do that?
yeah,
I feel like Mourinho sometimes like forgets that as well. Like the players will come together for a guy if he's doing that much for a team.
Yeah.
Like for his Wesley Snyder as well, when he had
Yep.
Wesley Snyder, I think. But Wesley Snyder would try to be more defensive, have some defensive duties as well.
Yeah.
They were just, and they both played in different parts of the field. He was more in the mid than Hazard. He was in the wings. Like, why do you want a winger to drop back and defend?
Yeah. Um, but what I was continuing saying, that yeah, just a very special player. You know, Zidane, from an early age when he was a little, he recommended this player to Real Madrid. Real Madrid were interested, but he chose to go with Chelsea because of them winning the World Cup recently, and
The Champions League.
the yeah, the Champions League. Um, I said World Cup. Huh? My bad. Yeah,
Yeah, we're
Champions
still in the
League.
World Cup mode.
Yeah, but obviously had a great career at Chelsea. You know, his dream was to play for Real Madrid, and I think that's one of the main reasons that he came to Real Madrid because Zidane was there and he wanted him, and he came there. Like I said, from a Real Madrid point, it's been disappointing. Um, Physically, he and wasn't really there. Um, Injuries just cost him a lot. He would come back for a couple games and get injured, and he would be sidelined again, and it was just very difficult. I think you see the kind of character that he has from all the guys that, you know, he wasn't a guy that the guys thought that like that they didn't like or there was some bad blood. Everybody in that locker room had a very liking to Hazard and the way that he came into the locker room. You know, from Benzema to Modric, all the leaders in that group really liked what they seen from Hazard. And um, last year, you know, when they won the Champions League, he said that he wanted to work for them and show them the best years, but just hasn't been able to prove that. I feel like more now that his role has changed. He's not that dribbling player. He's not that, you know, player that can get you one on one against the defenders. He's more of a creator now, which in Real Madrid we don't really play with a number 10, so it doesn't really fit Hazard's way of playing, you know. And just, you know, the recent up and comings of Vinicius, Rodrigo, Valverde, there's just no room for him at the squad. But um, I know we're talking about his national team career. Jordan, do you want to say anything before I continue to my question? How much you how
This
much how much you hated him as an Arsenal player?
We did
um,
all the time.
I was gonna say that the Belgium golden era, there was a golden generation, golden generation. The golden generation ended 2018. That's when it ended. They literally didn't carry anything from that. If
And
anything, they dropped a lot of quality in their play. De Bruyne gained, but it felt like Hazard dropped. And I don't put it as him not being that hardworking. I think he was hardworking earlier in his career with Lille and when he went to Chelsea. But I think what happens is because he got injured at Chelsea for a long time, right?
no, he only had one injury at Chelsea when he was there.
Yeah,
And I think that ends up, especially when you play in the Premier League, where you could quote coast with your talent only. Don't really have to work that hard. Although he is a hardworking player because he got to a professional level, but there's that extra inch of work effort or hard work that you have to put in
well, I feel
that
like
these
he got
greats put in.
complacent. That's what it is. He got complacent. I don't know
Could be, could
who
also
was
be the change of
was it
managers though
was it
too.
was it Michael Essien or Obi Mikel? They said like one of the worst like trainers that he's seen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think it might have been John Terry.
I don't remember who
Uh,
it was. I have to look
but
at the quote.
what I was going to continue to say was that when he joined the Chelsea team, I think he thought Chelsea were going to go on a run. And I think when you saw Chelsea go to the Europa League, I think he should have gone around Madrid. I don't think he should have gone with the hype of Chelsea winning the Champions League. You know what I mean, Junior, right?
Yeah,
I
but
think he
like,
should have chosen Real Madrid in that
but that's another
situation.
thing. But that's where like we had so many changes of managers, like, and I mean, not to fault him, but we were never gonna stick with Di Matteo,
But
even though he won
yeah,
it was never gonna happen.
But another thing is also that the transition from managers kind of gets on a player, and at a certain point you're like, I'm just gonna do me. I'm not. You want me to work hard?
He's like, yeah, you're
The
only gonna be here
teammates
for a year, bro.
the teammates are gonna back me. They're gonna see you tell me, oh, you gotta work hard, and the teammates are gonna be on my side. And I think that happens when you don't have a stable manager or a manager who has the respect of Hazard. I'm not saying that these managers didn't have Hazard didn't respect them or that he did respect them. I'm saying that Hazard just viewed as I'm gonna do me because I'm gonna give you my 100% on game day.
On the field. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm an Arsenal fan. I've seen him score on Arsenal countless times. We were in the Europa League. We should have won the Europa League. Hazard, I hate him. I hate him as a player, as a rival. But I would have loved to have him as my team. I think you said Uzil. I think there's those two players that could have been. I think he joins that list of players that could have been better, but had an amazing career. Obviously, winning a lot of trophies.
Yeah.
It's one of
But
those
sad to
players
see him
where-
go from the international. But I never saw him as an international like great. I saw him more as a club great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like I said, that 2018, like the only reason there was a golden generation was because of him. Like when De Bruyne was playing, he wasn't at the Manchester type of, you know, like it developed. Like the reason why it was golden generation is because they saw how they could dominate teams with the Hazard, and then he'll pass it over to Lukaku. He just had to be in the box. He already
Yeah.
made 2/3 of the play for you.
Yeah.
And then you had a somewhat solid. People would call it solid, but I just thought it was a leaky defense. As the regulars, I just don't want to name them. They're not name worthy.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
It's
I
a
think
very
the
Well,
Belgium team
Look at it.
was a golden generation
we
because
can
of
talk
Moussa
about
Dembele.
we can talk about the Belgian that golden generation after the World Cup, and we can get more into it. But
Yeah.
a couple more news that I want to get before we end the episode today. Van Gaal stepping aside for Ronald Koeman to take over the national team. I feel like Van Gaal's best roles have been with the national team, being able to transform this national team when it was kind of slumbering. Really good performance from Netherlands in this World Cup, just unlucky with the penalties. And then Tite also being sacked from Brazil. A lot of names roaming around. Ancelotti and Jorge Jesus, the most likely ones. Ancelotti says that he has been said that he is interested in the job, but he would have to wait till the summer so he can relieve his duties as Real Madrid manager. Just real quickly, if you guys can give your opinion on Ronald Koeman moving in as the Netherlands, and then who would your pick be for Brazil national team? I'll start with you first, Jordan.
I never really liked Ronald Koeman. I always think that he's very critical on players going forward defensively, but that's literally what he did all the time. He literally always scores. I think he's one of the few defenders that has 100 or more goals. So I just feel like he's a hypocrite when it comes to managing the players, which is one of the worst things you could be. But yeah, we knew this was going to happen. They talked about it before the World Cup that he was just taking this on because he was at Barcelona and it was always going to happen. Van Gaal had a good showing in the World Cup. I think teams will be looking to get him, maybe possibly a team in the Premier League or in the La Liga. But I don't see a difference from these coaches. Honestly, they're going to play the same way like they always do. That's it. And Carlo Ancelotti going Brazil, Junior said it would make more sense for him to go to his home country in Italy, which that would make more sense being your nationality is there, so there's something more there. It's not just a job; it's your passion for your country and to represent him. I think Jorge Jesus would be a better option. but I don't really know what's gonna
For
happen there.
Ancelotti, I think he said for the World Cup that he was gonna support Canada because he lives there, right? Doesn't he live in Canada or something like that?
I'm not too sure.
He has a house that he was supporting Canada. So, if anything, Canada makes more sense than a Brazil. I don't know why you went like what? Just because he has Brazilian players? I think that's why they want him because Brazilian players.
He should just come to the United States, dude.
Yeah,
Honestly.
honestly, I was gonna say like to me, if I'm Ancelotti, a challenge, and you're gonna be paid well, you're gonna be living well. I take the U.S. no doubt.
Also, the money you get from sponsors, USA has a big network of media and stuff.
Imagine what it would if Ancelotti takes the U.S. job. I think that'd be the biggest. It'd be bigger than Beckham joining MLS.
I was just gonna to add. Yeah, took he lived for in Real Madrid a year after from his first when they sacked him the first time in 2014, and then he
Mm.
lived there another year before he got the Bayern Munich job.
Yeah. So if anything, that Canada makes more sense for him to take, not a Brazil.
But I think just as a manager, to get to work with so much that talent that Brazil usually have in their national teams, I think that's just a big attraction
Yeah,
to
And the
get the job.
parties.
but there's also this thing like if no manager, every World Cup manager is from that country, so I don't know why they wanted to ruin that.
To shake it up
But
a bit.
also, but I don't think they would win. Well, and also Ronald Koeman, I think he's a great player, but a terrible manager. And like you said, he doesn't know how to manage players. He's very, I like that he's very direct, but at the same time, it's like you're doing more damage than you could.
It's like he
Yeah,
has no charisma with the players. He has no connection with the players. He's more like he views them more like tools
Yeah,
than views them like people that help him, like workers. He's like, just do your job, but he doesn't give a good he game plan against some teams. Like you've seen him at Barcelona, Junior. You know how
yeah,
how bad it
he
is.
has
yeah,
so many fallouts, even with people that admired him, with PK. Even though he sent like they kind of squashed it, but at the same time, if one of your idols is being such a dickhead to you, there's only so much you could give him.
yeah. And then the last story before we wrap it up here is the Gio Reyna with Greg Berhalter issues. A lot of saying that this guy was one of the, if not one of the, if not the best, one of the best U.S. players available for Greg Berhalter, and then for him to not use him as much as people probably thought he was. Rumors circulating that he was just a bad trainer, that he wasn't really putting in the effort, or Greg didn't like the effort that he showed in training.
You want me
And
to discuss it a little bit because I know a lot
yeah,
of the details of
yeah,
what
go
was
ahead.
happening. So there was a match that the U.S. was going to play a scrimmage 2 days prior to their first World Cup game, and apparently, like he was like they had told him before that game that he was not going to have a lot of minutes, so he was not going to be starting essentially these games in the World Cup. So Gio Reyna kind of as any player, like you're telling me that I'm not going to be playing that much. You kind of take it, you're down. So they were saying that he was just being mopey and not giving his all in training because if you're telling me, and I kind of get it as a player, if you're telling me like I'm not going to be playing, I'm not going to be starting, then why am I training so hard for? I
Hmm.
mean, I get it that I'm training for the other guys so they could get some type of like what's the word I'm trying to they're trying to get the rhythm and then to making the plays so you help them to be better, right? That's what you do as when you play a scrimmage, you trying to get better from each other. So
Yeah,
I get that, but at the same time, like why I don't know that I don't understand like why would you tell a player, and even then like what Gio Reyna's not gonna have minutes,
yeah,
and who you gonna play over me? Like I remember when Clint Dempsey was with the coach and he was saying like I'm not gonna be. He was saying like I'm not gonna be starting. Who in this pool is better than me?
yeah,
Because I'm scoring goals for you, and these guys, four of these guys that you're starting over me are not scoring.
yeah,
So I feel like I get that, but at the same time, like like I said, Berhalter, I don't think you should stay. But at the same time, it's just is very weird. Why would you tell a player that he's not going to be playing? Like, don't you think he's going to be playing at all? Like, could he
Yeah,
not start a game? Like, he gets better, and then like, you know what? I'm gonna put him the second match.
yeah,
Like, isn't that a possibility? So
yeah,
even then, I feel that's wrong. You're gonna come at a player of 26 players that you picked. You picked these players to be here, and now you're telling this guy he's like, you're not even that. Nah, I mean, honestly, you're not that good to be starting.
yeah.
Why did you bring me then?
Yeah, it makes little sense to be honest, and I feel like a lot of managers are are culpable for this, but especially Greg Balter, where he has like a group of players that he really likes and he enjoys, and he's gonna try to play them because he likes the way they play, or he plays the exact way that you want him to play. But I said when we were first analyzing the team, when you're a national team, you got to look at who are the players that are performing for you for the U.S. right now and say, okay, these guys are performing. I'm gonna build a game plan based on these players and what they can offer me. You know, maybe one or two, you'd be like, okay, well, this guy can come off the bench and do this job for me. But these groups of players that have been tearing it up in their respective leagues are gonna be like, my players that are my star players, and I'm gonna build a team around these guys to get the best out of my star players. And I feel like Gio Reyna is one of those guys where, he's been very unfortunate for Borussia Dortmund with injuries, but when he's on the pitch, he shows you the quality, and especially when he came on against, I think it was against England, that he just showed you how good he was on trying to break that defense down for England.
But another player is not even, and he did get more minutes was Brendan Aronson. Like the fact that Brendan Aronson didn't start a single game was wild to me, especially how good he's been playing.
Yeah,
So those type of things, and it wasn't even that. Like the drama was that this got out. So apparently, like they were like his whole thing is that he was gonna keep it in, so that didn't get found out. But at the end of the day, it got found out.
yeah,
So that led me to your the other thing that we were talking about, players that why he was gonna leave. I think that was his whole plan. Really, I feel like I don't think he feels like he's gonna stick around.
mhm,
So that's why we got out because he's like, oh, I could just, when you're like, done with the job, you talk about your job.
yeah,
Like, oh, I'm not in that company anymore. So let me talk about this company, all the shit that
yeah,
happened.
yeah.
So in that saying, that's what it feels
Like
to me
like
when that
Cristiano
got out.
Ronaldo when talking about Manchester United.
Yeah, like like that was his whole plan. Like I'm not gonna be there anymore. So let me tell you everything.
Yeah,
I feel like that's how it is gonna play out. If it doesn't, it should.
yeah. Jordan, anything you want to add?
You pass it over to me when I'm chewing eyes. I was gonna say that very interesting scenario that you see developing. Because Gio Reyna, like you said, he's been struggling with injuries, but he always plays. He never there's never been a game where you're like, Gio Reyna, that was the problem in the team. The thing that it got out, who got it out? Berhalter?
Berhalter told some report. It was like a conference meeting for like
Oh, okay.
leadership. It was like leadership conference, and then someone like
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I saw it. I saw the picture of that. Okay. Berhalter is a guy who claims to be I'm for the players, I'm for the players, and the players bought that because I think he really is for the players, and I think the whole plan of tallying Gio Reyna was to make him think, okay, I'm gonna be real with him, and he's gonna respect that, so he's gonna know that I'm not gonna play you, so he doesn't get down when we comes to the games and he's not playing. So kind of to not to kind of like take away the blow, like make it less hurt less. You know what I mean?
yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
And I
but
think that was the whole idea of doing that. And I think that backfires because I think he didn't have the perspective that, oh, you know what, I used to be a player, and when a coach would tell me he wouldn't play me, I would get very upset. I think he thought this was gonna push Gio Reyna to work harder in training and maybe change his mind. But I think Gio Reyna, when he told him that, Gio Reyna was like you said, oh, so do I really have to try in trading? I'll just go 70%. I'll go 60%. I don't need to go fully. but we don't know what went on in training. So this could just be Berhalter making it up too, to a point. I don't want to put blame on him, but how Gio Reyna responded in his statement, I think Gio Reyna did kind of like, whatever, I'll just take it easy. Just whatever. From the player's perspective, that was a real dumb move by Berhalter. I get the thing of keeping it in house, but like you said, saying it to just the media, he should be out as soon as that happens. Because if you claim to keep it in house, oh, but you could talk about it, you're not playing with this team. You're not connected with the team. You're a fake. You're being really fake to the team. You're like, oh, I'm really for you guys. But then you go out in the media and say whatever you want. And now Gio Reyna has to put a statement out. You're putting him in a compromised position. No player likes to do that. No player likes to go out and have to confront people and be like, yeah, this happened at training. This is why I didn't play. Because now you're putting it on him. Now you're saying, oh, it's his fault because he didn't train.
Yeah, now you're making an example out of him like they did with Iverson.
Yeah.
Like why? I'm the franchise player. What do you mean?
Right.
You
like
should
you
be
said-
going home. Like what the hell?
When we've all played career mode in FIFA. This might be a terrible analogy, but when you buy a player, you scout him, and you're like, how can I fit him in my team? Maybe I sell this player, then I put him in. He literally didn't do that. It's like he's like, oh, I just play how I want to play.
That's what I was saying. Like you're not gonna play Brandon Aronson, and somewhere in there in the top three, like I know, like Weah, like was impressing me that first game, but other than that first game,
It's like,
He fell off.
Berhalter, we get it. You have cool shoes, dude, but do something
Yeah.
else.
that's another thing that I don't like. He puts way too much effort in those shoes. Like, dude, can you put some effort on your goddamn tactics, my guy? Like,
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say
don't
if
another thing that's why he's there is because his brother is in the federation. So I also didn't like that. I was like, who's gonna be coaching? And then a few games in, he's like, all right, we won the Copa Oro, we won the Nations League. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, like it was against in-house, like you said, it was those leagues that only had certain height
yeah,
and a very weak
against,
Mexico,
yeah, I was gonna say against some of the weaker
of
sides
the
of
worst
Mexico,
Mexico.
sides that we've
Yeah.
seen. But yeah, I just feel like it's really weird to like if you wanna be real with me, just let me know. Hey, I'm not gonna start you.
If you would have said, I'm not
I
going to
don't
touch you the
have
first game,
I don't have you as my starter, but if you show me, then I can see what.
Yeah,
what
that's
you-
the other thing. Like,
Like,
how did he
why-
word it?
why
Because if he
you-
said it like you, if I'm a player, I'm gonna be like, well, now I'm gonna try hard in training.
yeah.
But if he was like, you know
you're
what, I
not
don't
gonna
even
get a lot of
plan on
minutes.
playing you. It's like, what the hell, dude?
He said that he's not going to get a lot of minutes. So that
Yeah.
to me is like, also, I'm not even going to be playing. Like, I'm just going to be a time wasting sub that we all know that there are some players that you just time wasting basically
Yeah,
because you never changed much of the tactics when he was just player by player. That's like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so if he's telling me that, I was like, oh, so you don't think I can impress you? You don't think I'm good enough to be on this team? Not even the top 15 players in the squad, and
Yeah.
he's not even top 15. I'm telling you, he's top 5,
yeah,
and he's
Definitely.
not starting. No way.
yeah, yeah. Just really really bad for Greg Potter in the USA. I feel like Greg his time is overdue, and I think it's time for a change. But
Yeah.
all right, with that,
Bring Donovan in.
I don't know about that. Well, real quick,
That's just a joke.
who would you guys have your pick
Uh,
if you were the FA and you got to pick?
To be honest, I thought about this before. Tucho, bring him in.
yeah, I
Bring
think,
Tucho in.
some type of manager but if you want to be like in-house American soccer, I think Kelly Porter from Portland. I think that would be. I don't know why he lost the first time around. I think that would have been a better like the way they play. He has some like understanding of what he wants to play. I think it'd be better than Greg Halter, who we didn't know about at all.
Yeah.
We didn't know anything about him. So I think that would be my in-house, and like you said, Tuchel, that'd be amazing.
Another one, well, obvious one is the Jesse Marsh, but I think he's
said-
taking his time with Leeds. He's
Yeah.
making that his project.
I think
Yeah.
right now it'd be really difficult.
and he
to
said
take
he
him out.
doesn't want to be. It's just two different ball games, national and
More of-
how young he is. I don't think that's in his mind right now.
If anything, it's gonna be an MLS guy who they're all amazing coaches all around in the MLS. But we'll just have to see which one it is if it
Yeah.
does happen.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Anybody that has an American connection, international player. You think
What?
Zinedine Zidane would wanna? Because they're already talking about extending France's coach. What's his name?
The Shams.
Deschamps.
Deschamps.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, let me go to the U.S. Let me take this shot,
Well,
see what I can
you
do over
know,
here.
Pep Guardiola was in New York for a while when he was
Yeah,
when he took a break. I could see him probably coming to the U.S.
U.S. before he takes
Or
the.
Thierry Henry. He's always loves
That would
the
be the
U.S.
craziest thing. Carlo Ancelotti at Canada and Guardiola at United States. We're living in a fantasy world if that happens, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, that would be absolutely nuts. But
Honestly, I bring in La Volpe as a consulting. Seriously, dude. The thing that La Volpe
dude,
could do for you.
dude, what if the
The
USA went
scouting
for
of the youngsters he would do. Like he has a. You have to say something about La Volpe. He has a knife for youngsters.
what
He
if
could catch a
USA went for Miguel Herrera and just said big be like
under Mexico's noses. That'd
yeah.
If they took it from Mexico, that would be hilarious, dude. That would be so funny. And
That'd be
then the
crazy.
scores too, they win 2-0. That would be funny.
That'd be crazy. But all right, that with that that concludes our episode for today. Hope you enjoyed. Jordan, anything else you want to say?
If you watch this long, you must be a real dummy.
Oh my God,
My
Junior.
God. That's it. Hopefully, we get to talk sooner. I'm excited for the semifinals. I think they're going to be one of the best semifinals we've seen in a while, but especially the quarterfinals. I didn't think they were going to be this exciting. They usually that, like, a Croatia, they try to, like, for the last minute, 0-0s, 2-2s, trying
Yeah,
to tie it, and then leave it for you know, for penalties.
yeah. No, definitely. And let me look it up real quick because I want to give you guys the information correctly. So um, for the final, we will be doing a watch along, a live stream of the match, um, 8 o'clock Mountain Time and 7 o'clock Pacific Time. So hopefully you join us with that. We'll be giving our live reactions to the games, to the lineups as they come out, and max reactions as well. But that'll be on Sunday, December 18th. Hope you join us for that. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe so you get notified. Put what is it? Like the bell notification so you get notified of
The bell.
when we
Yeah.
upload, and you get notified for our next restaurant. Our next video should be up. It's gonna be Thursday. Thursday, we'll be talking about the semifinals. We'll be talking about the third place and a little bit about the final as well. Thank you guys for watching, and that'll be all.